someplace, what percentage of our business would be advertising in some number of years. So I made up a number and said it would be 25%. I think that's probably right, not because our traditional software revenue will shrink, but because our advertising revenue will continue to grow. Microsoft makes about $3.5 billion a year on advertising. That's smaller than Yahoo and Google, but it's a significant number. And as we think about the tools that we will provide to help people get online and to help advertisers sell, or publishers sell advertising on their own websites, we can see very dramatic growth coming. That's partly how we justify the price for Yahoo. Facebook and our relationship. We are a part owner in Facebook. We own about 2% of the company, and we sell advertising. We sell about half of the advertising that gets sold on top of Facebook. I don't run Facebook. We're just a business partner. But I think social networking in general will have 2 or 3 different business models. First is an advertising-based business model. I mean, over time, all entertainment and social networking will actually be hard to pull apart. Well, about 10 years ago, we started to work on technology for delivering TV-like experiences across an internet-like network. Today, with AT&T in the US, with British Telecom, with Deutsche Telekom, with Reliance, which is the largest telecommunications company in India, we are now delivering, if you will, TV over the internet. So version 1 is really today's TV just delivered over the internet. But now we're starting to add applications. So for example, AT&T announced that they have moved the Flickr application from Yahoo to their TV service. So literally you can sit there just like you were watching TV and then start looking at your family or your friends' pictures on the television coming down off the internet. I use a Windows mobile phone that comes from a company called HTC. There are many great Windows mobile phones from Samsung, from HTC, Motorola, from Hewlett-Packard, from many, many different makers. The phone market is you have to remember, it's amazing. 1.2, 1.3 billion phones get sold a year. And to have a significant market share actually means you have to sell hundreds of millions of phones. I agree, Apple's made a nice splash in the market, and they're selling maybe 5 to 10 million phones a year. I stand by my statement. Their prices would have to come down. They have a lot of work they need to do. They may succeed, but not with anything near the current design. We have a very different approach with Windows Mobile. We're trying to be on more phones. We don't require a high service fee per month, which is a feature of the iPhone. You actually have to pay significantly per month. In many countries, prepaid phones are quite important. There's no prepaid model that works for the iPhone. Like picking your least favorite business. It's a dangerous game. I would say that our biggest competition comes from the way software is changing. If you tell me somebody's going to compete with us with classic software, I say we're very good at that. If you say somebody's going to compete with us with an advertising business model, we are still earlier in embracing and learning and understanding that business model than, say, Yahoo is or Google is. Some people are actually going to disguise their software by putting it in hardware, kind of like Apple does with the iPhone. So it's the transition in what software is that probably represents, when you say, who's our biggest competitor in the change to advertising? Obviously, I would say Google. If you ask who's our biggest competitor in the change to hardware, I'd say Apple. In the traditional business, I'd say our biggest competition comes from also a different business model, so-called open source. If we came to most of you and said you've got a new competitor, the competitor has no cost base. It's free to run their business. I think most of you would say, well, that could be a difficult competition. Of all my professional children. Sometimes they misbehave, but I love all my professional children. In our case, we've got 2 children that they're grown, they're young adolescents, they're still developing, but they're beautiful, sort of, wonderful and adult people. That would be our Windows business, our Office business, and our server business. Then we've got some young children who are still growing, getting better, getting stronger. Our Xbox business, our Windows Mobile business, our MSN online business. So I'm happy with all the children. I love all the children. Some of them are older and some of them are younger. And some of them have misbehaved lately, but we do try to keep that in the family. Any questions, issues, or problems at any time on our software, Steve B at Microsoft.com. I'm always glad to help.